candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. James Keller. Imagine you and I were walking down the street. You breathe in, you breathe out. I breathe in, I breathe out. Neither of us worry that there's not going to be enough air for us both to breathe. Air is abundant. Now imagine that you and I are scuba diving. All of a sudden my tank malfunctions and I signal you over and let you know that we now need to share tanks. Air is no longer abundant, it's scarce. You wonder, will there be enough in my tank for both of us? John Maxwell shared this story and so well describing the idea of scarcity versus abundance. An idea that was originated by Stephen Covey in the book 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Stephen describes that there's 2 types of thinking. The first type is scarcity. Scarcity thinking believes that there's only so much and that we have to take our portion. Let me read you more. Most people are deeply scripted in what I call the scarcity mentality. They see life as having only so much, as though there were only one pie out there, and if someone gets too big a piece of pie, it would mean less for everyone else. The second type of thinking is the abundant mentality. The abundant mentality believes that there's enough for all of us. There's enough to spare. Let me read from Stephen's book. The abundance mentality, on the other hand, flows out of a deep inner sense of personal worth and security. It is the paradigm that there is plenty out there and enough to spare for everyone. So there's some words that we throw around today. I'm going to give you a couple. First, YOLO. Second, you better get yours. Third, it's now or never. What do those words boil up in you? The idea that I better grab it while I can. I have to do this now. It might go away. Scarcity. This past Halloween, we were living with my in-laws and I dressed up and had these little fairy wings. It was so silly that I found in the basement. It was hilarious. And I sat on the porch and had all the kids come in, just had a blast passing out candy. So every kid came and they would take their one piece of candy, put it in their bag, thank me politely, and move on. And this one little boy walked up, he's 3 years old. He got his piece of candy, put it in his bag, and he paused for a second. And he looked at me with this little sly grin, and he just reached his hand in there, grabbed a big old handful, threw it in his bag, and ran away. I couldn't help but laugh, and then I got a little mad. That little kid, what is he doing? But don't we do that all the time in business? We believe that there's only so much success out there, and I gotta get mine while I can. All the while, we don't realize that there's a whole bag of candy stashed in the back, just waiting to refill the bowl. We're gonna get while we can. We're gonna grab onto it. And even though there's beautiful Pinterest pictures that say her success doesn't dictate my success, I think down deep, we really wonder if that's true. Lisa Turker says in her book, Uninvited, that's not wisdom, that's fear. One boundary that I've set up in dealing with the scarcity and abundance mentality is this idea of defining enough. I talk about this in so many different ways. Enough is a word that can go across a lot of platforms, but specifically in our finances, learning what is enough for me. A while back, my friend Emily Newman was speaking at one of my Blueprint retreats, and she was talking about social media in particular. And she said, if you were to put all of your followers in one room, how many of those people could actually buy from you? How many of them could you even work with? For those in the wedding industry, probably not many. You might need 20, 30 clients a year, and you're probably maxed out. For those that sell an online product, you might be able to work with all those people. But we can get stuck in this trap, this treadmill, I call it, of more. We live in a world of more. So one thing I'd encourage you to do is define enough for you. How many sales do you need a month? How many clients do you need per year to pay your personal bills and your business bills? Know your need. When you know your need, it frees you up to cheer others along in their success. No longer is it we're trying to all eat from one pie and her big piece means I only get a small piece. No, we realize that I've got my need covered. And maybe I set some extra goals and some fun things, but I'm focused on my need, my story, my truth. When we live out of enough, it allows us to live in this abundance mentality, understanding there is enough out there for all of us, and we don't have to grab at all the crumbs.